Trump, get out of New York.
Trump called your wife ugly. I do love that.
The Big Apple forever brings me big joy. Yeah, so as you probably heard and have seen by now, Ted Cruz enjoyed that warm welcome, I'm sure, in New York during his book tour. But instead of focusing on the hecklers, well, the married senator from Texas was apparently preoccupied with something else.
So in the seat behind me, there is this gorgeous woman in a halter top that
everybody saw it was trending on social media.
Yeah.
So it was like I was laughing because I was watching the game at home. Yeah. My phone's blowing up. They're like, "Are you at the game? Are you at the game?" I'm like, no, I'm a commoner. I'm back at home. I'm watching this on TV. And then everybody's tweeting me or texting me going, who is that sitting behind him? Because it was like if you had to focus on the game and make sure no one took a picture that they're like, oh, look, Ted Cruz.
So I will say, my buddy Jeff leaning next to me, he sort of leans over and tells me, okay, she's behind you. She's selling an NFT. So she had some sign and she's selling it. And she has, to use the Monty Python phrase, she has great tracts of land. So he tells me this and I'm like, okay. All we need is one video of me turning around and my eyes shifting down. Like they're 24 frames in a second.
Yep, that's all you need.
For 1/24 of a second, I look down and that's an image they go with.
Yeah.
And I have to admit the whole damn game, I'm looking forward. Or if I turn around, my eyes are up, damn it. You are not.
You're looking in the upper deck.
So that was, and she was actually very nice. She and I took a selfie. We were one of the many people who took a selfie early on. It was before she was wearing a jacket or something because it was
when she looked normal. There you go.
She was just
before she was trying to sell
sort
something.
of the fan behind me until she wasn't.
Ugh, ogling creep. Well, if you remember Cruz, he's been married to his wife Heidi for some 22 years, and I heard she's pretty much a baller at the bank. So why he's out here talking about some woman's knockers is beyond me. But it's kind of hard to tell if he's actually happily married or if he's really in this marriage. Who knows? Because this isn't the first time. We also know that the heckler, what they brought up in terms of Trump calling his wife ugly. Now, if you recall, during the 2016 presidential campaign, after Melania Trump was slut-shamed in a Facebook ad that Cruz was not involved in, Trump said he'd spill the beans about Cruz's wife, Heidi. Now, Trump later retweeted someone who wrote, "No need to spill the beans. The images are worth 1,000 words," with an unfortunate photo of Heidi, whose face was captured in a strained expression alongside a glamour shot of Melania. Now, of course, instead of standing up for his wife, Cruz went ahead and endorsed Trump for president. That's cute. And even today, Cruz is still really brushing off this insulting slight to the mother of his children.
I frankly don't know how you get over your wife being called ugly. I don't know how you get over those kind of calumnies against your father. But you obviously have gotten over it. Today you sing a very different tune. So tell us, were you lying then or are you lying now?
Yeah, that's a loaded question there. Look,
I think a lot of people have the same question. It's a very different Ted Cruz that we're seeing. We are. I mean, would you not agree that that's very different Ted Cruz than today's Ted Cruz?
What I would say is this. In 2016, we had a primary where Donald Trump and I beat the living crap out of each other. I'll tell you, Heidi laughed when he said that. My father laughed. By the way, my dad didn't just kill Kennedy. He's got Jimmy Hoffa buried in the backyard. It was idiotic. And we went after each other, and at the end of the day, he won. And I had a decision to make in November of 2016. He'd been elected president. I got a responsibility to represent 30 million Texans. I could have decided my feelings are hurt. I'm going to take the ball and go home and not do my job. But if I was prepared to do that, I better be prepared to resign from my job because I have a responsibility. And why did I choose to work with him, even though I was pissed off at what he said? Because I had a job to do and I had a responsibility.
That man does not respect his wife. Let's stop with that. Anyways, this isn't the first time that The View has called out Cruz because earlier this year, the daytime talk show hosts, they took issue with creepy comments that the senator made about actor Kate Beckinsale during one of his podcast tapings. Here's a recap. He said Pete Davidson was dating Kate Beckinsale. You're talking underworld. You're talking like super hot vampire in black leather trench coat. And you're like, really? The SNL dude, like, wow. Whoopi Goldberg, she noted that she felt the segment was disrespectful to Cruz's wife, Heidi. Fellow View co-host Ana Navarro also weighed in, declaring Cruz's words gave her the heebie-jeebies. Ana Navarro said, "Can I just tell you, it is so creepy and so disgusting, and I agree with you. How disrespectful can this be to his wife?" Yeah, let's just admit it, that Ted Cruz is very disturbing, quite disgusting, and a really crummy husband. Let's be real here. Who talks about other women like that and publicly, and to do so in such an unabashed way? Like, he doesn't care. It tells you that this is who this person is, and it is a reflection of his marriage. John.
Yeah, I don't think that he was thinking at all about how it reflected on his marriage. I think that he is a guy who clearly has always wanted to be cool, and he's just not remotely near there. So when he goes on these podcasts, a guy starts talking to him and he wants to have like guy talk, and he doesn't get that he's Ted Cruz. And when people see him, they see Ted Cruz, and everyone knows who Ted Cruz is. Ted Cruz most of all, but he occasionally forgets it when he's talking on a podcast. That's why he hangs out with like younger conservatives and stuff. He just wants to seem like he's not a creepy older man, which is unfortunately what he is. When it comes to his answer on The View, it was a great question, by the way. I loved his self-serving, ridiculous answer. Then first of all, in his telling of it, once Trump was elected president, I had a decision to make. Wait, hold up. You were campaigning for him. You didn't make the decision after the inauguration. You did the little phone call. Can you give some money to Trump for president? You had made that decision months and months before. He was almost honest when he said, if I was gonna do my job, I might as well say goodbye to my job if I didn't support him, because that is true. Not that he couldn't do his job without supporting Trump. There are senators who don't like Trump. Mitch McConnell seems to despise Donald Trump. No, but he would likely have been replaced in the next election by some other Texas Republican who was willing to kiss Trump's ass more than Ted Cruz was. That's the truth of it. And then the most ridiculous rewriting of history that maybe I've ever seen, Edwin laughed when he said this. When he said, we just finished a primary where we'd beaten the hell out of each other. Oh, there was a beating, but it wasn't two men beating the hell out of each other. You got hit and made fun of. Your wife got hit and made fun of. That's the only direction that the beating was coming in. And I don't know what the conversations in his household was. I don't know if his dad laughed over the JFK stuff. I don't know if his wife laughed over her being called ugly. I can't imagine. I think that if anything, she was laughing at him maybe. I think that every time she sees him, she probably sees him differently than she did before that campaign. I don't think that you ever regain respect in your wife's eyes after that performance, but that's for their marriage, and relationships come in a lot of different forms, and humiliation is a kink that a lot of people are into. So I'm not gonna judge their relationship, Adrian.
Oh, well, I'll kink shame the hell out of it. Like, this is pathetic. That's absolutely disgusting to let someone talk about your partner, your life partner, the mother of your children like that, but then also to ogle the woman at the game. Like, get out of here. They are breasts. 50% of us have them. Actually, 100% of us have them. But it's like, get out of here with that mess. And it's also very disgusting and disturbing as an individual that you are a US senator and you're out here reflecting on a D cup. Like, give me a break. This man is so far from being anyone respectable or even desirable. He is not admirable. He is just complete and utter T-word trash. And that's how I feel about that. Any last thoughts, John?
It's pretty clear to me. Yeah, you're disgusting. Look, I don't think there's a senator who I want to hear talk about Iraq he saw, but it definitely ain't Ted Cruz. I don't know who the market is for that. Like, granted, I don't like Ted Cruz, but let's say I like Bernie. Don't want to hear Bernie talk about Iraq. Not interested in what he thinks about an ass. I don't want to hear that. I don't know why on the right it might be different. I can't say it. I don't listen to those podcasts, but the whole thing is just gross, and I would love to never have to hear anything like that again.
Yep, and the funny thing is, Ted Cruz would be the first one to say, I have daughters. Just pathetic.